freaking go? I was so hyped when Bitterroot won the poll. And for UK Black History Month, come on! You guys are a bunch of allies, just like my friend King Newsme. Ain't that right, King Newsme? Yeah, we throwing sausages in his face. That's what we do. He's gonna fucking hate that I said that, dog. Oh my god. Welcome back to the channel. I am the Pumpkinator, and today we're gonna be covering the Bitterroot comic series. Because, as stated before, it won the poll. Look at you. You do have a say. Created by David F. Walker, Stanford Green, and Chuck Brown for Image Comics, Bitterroot is a freaking masterpiece. Its initial run ran for 15 issues from 2018 to 2021, and it takes place during the Harlem Renaissance. Brown and Green really wanted to set the comic during the early 20th century because they wanted to promote the artistic and cultural impact that we had, despite the institutionalized racism. Then they brought on Walker to help develop the ideas and characters, and they knew he was the guy because Green worked with him on Power Man and Iron Fist, and together they made fire. It's so fire, in fact, that it has a film adaptation in the works, with Ryan Coogler as the director, and after seeing Sinners, it's probably gonna be a masterpiece. They also have an ongoing spin-off run called Bitterroot The Next Movement, which I actually saw in the comic shop, but I did not buy it. I gotta read the main story first, but that's enough about the backstory of the comic. Let's get into the real deal. Let's talk about Bitterroot. The issue starts in Harlem, New York, where all the people are getting down. We see a couple leaving the Merryman, and they decide to take a shortcut through the park, where they get attacked by a mysterious thing. We then cut to the next morning, where we see the police leaving the Sangaria elixir shop. They just drop something off there, where the family is kind of annoyed that they're their go-to for spooky stuff. And I would be too, because now Colin and Berg have to fight a big-ass Gino. Well, Colin does. Berg sits back and enjoys his succulent tea. The ladies hear all the commotion, and Blink tells Ma Etta that she's going up there to help, but Etta tells her that Colin has to fight his own battles. Plus, that ain't woman's work. But Blink says times are changing. Women are kicking ass. That's why Betsy Coleman flies planes. And if you don't know who that is, she's the first black and Native American woman to get her international pilot's license. That's pretty cool, right? Colin is still struggling with the Gino, but Blink pulls up and rocks its shit. She asks for her staff and thoroughly kicks his poor soul's behind. After this, she goes back to making the serum, while she lets the fellas clean things up. All this was witnessed by the spooky pigeon. And as the pigeon flies away, we hear a conversation between a Dr. Sylvester and a Miss Nightdale. The two of them are searching for something, but they're starting to lose faith. But Sylvester is determined to take care of this. He eats the bird. Nigga. This hurts extra because I freaking love birds. I love those little guys. He sees the entire fight the Sangaria family just went through and calls them pathetic bickering children who don't know their true power. After this, Nightdale injects him with the last of the serum that they had. So now they need the Sangarias. Cutting back to the family, Ma Etta is scolding Blink for not helping her with the root. And now she's even more upset that she's working on that. Is she blacksmithing? What the heck is that? But Blink says she likes what she's doing. Etta gives her the look and Blink apologizes. She wants to do her part, but she wants to do more than just the roots. Etta gives her the serum and tells her to give it to Colin so that he can learn. Etta's whole deal about her not wanting Blink to become a fighter is because they lost her mom that way. She got pulled into something called the Void, which is where all the evil spirits come from. And now she's presumed dead. Blink heads over to Colin and hands him the serum, who's not the most excited about the whole thing. He injects a Gino with the serum, which cures them of their curse. Now all they gotta do is put them somewhere where nobody's gonna notice them. We then cut to an hour later to St. Nicholas Park, where we see two cops on patrol. One of the cops is a little jumpy because of all the monsters been going around, and he pulls a gun as soon as he hears something. That sound is our boys, and things are looking a little suspicious on their part. The cops tell them to put the people down and to tell them what's going on. They try to explain, but another monster pulls up behind them. They try to warn the cops, but he takes it as a threat and opens fire. But Berg just blocks all the shots because he's a fucking G. I'm gonna keep it a buck, bro. I think Berg might be my favorite character. A studious and a badass? Come on. You gotta love him. Anyway, the cops get killed by the big old Gino. Berg tries to take him on, but gets knocked back immediately. And things are looking a little dire. We then cut to Mississippi, where we see the Klan trying to lynch someone. They want to kill him because they think that he was fooling around with a white woman. The Klansman says that he needs to learn his place. But they all get shot straight in the head because this cool cat just came on the scene. And that is where the issue ends. And I gotta say, it's pretty freaking dope. I absolutely love the setup of this story and everybody's different dynamics. Colin's still going through his training arc as the story begins. It's kind of cool. We're gonna be able to see him progress as the story goes on. And also, Blink kind of reminds me of my sister. Capable as fuck. Hey Anita, if you're watching this, I love you, you punk bitch. It'll probably be the only one that you watch because it's the only one that doesn't have like titties in the thumbnails, but you know. Anyway, you probably got a lot of questions, right? What's a Gino? What's going on with that bird-eating guy? Will Colin be able to take care of himself? Well, let's start off with the family. They were once the best monster hunting family in the States, and they were best known for curing the people of their monstrous state. Yeah, if you couldn't tell by like the first issue, the monsters are actually like people. But when they're filled with too much hate and racism, their exterior matches their interior. They get possessed by evil spirits and wreak havoc on others. So they gotta hit them with that woke serum to get them back. You know how it is. But the family just went through a traumatic event because they just lost a whole bunch of their family members to the Red Summer Riots, which is a real event that happened here in the US. A bunch of white supremacists in over 3 dozen cities just went around and killed hundreds of black folk for no reason in 1919. Evil stuff. But ever since then, there's been somewhat of a divide in the family. Some still want to heal the people, while others just think it's better for them to be dead. But that's why Ford isn't in Harlem, but more on that later. And you're also probably wondering about that Dr. Sylvester guy, right? Well, Dr. Sylvester lost his wife in 1919, and his grief hit him so hard, he just denounced the church. It actually hit him so hard that he decided to leave his home in Oklahoma with his kids to find himself. But things don't get much better for him, because in 1921, he lost his kids in the Tulsa Race Massacre, which is another real massacre that happened, and it all started because a woman named Sarah Page accused Dick Rowland of assaulting her in an elevator. So the white folks killed almost 300 black people. Things were definitely not fun back then. But not long after that, he meets Miss Nightdale, and she's in a new monster form called the Inzondo, which means hatred in Zulu. If I'm hitting you with too many black history facts, deal with it. This is my special interest minus booty and comic books. But when she reveals her human form, Dr. Sylvester gets super interested in her. She tells him about the Indonzo infection that she has, and they decide to become lovers and move out to Harlem, all while trying to figure out a cure for her. But at some point, he also gets infected by it, so he tries to speed up the process, which doesn't seem to be working out. So they've been stealing the cure from people who've been recently healed. So that's why Berg and Callum got attacked. Oh yeah, by the way, during that attack, Miss Nightdale infects Berg with the Indonzo, which is pretty rough. Callum takes him back to the family to get help. But he turns, and he starts to attack them, all while the police just start attacking people in Harlem because those cops from earlier died. They can't seem to find out how to help Berg, so they have to go to their Uncle Enoch, which Blink isn't too happy about because he's partially responsible for her parents' death. But Cullen goes to find him anyway. And at first, I was like, bro, how are you just gonna leave them like that, right? They're definitely gonna need help. But then I saw Ma Etta put belt to ass to Berg, and I was like, oh yeah, you don't mess with the Ma, yo. Oh, also the cops turn into Genos, but I'm sure that you knew that shit was brewing. Anyway, Cullen finds his uncle, who's like a dark art specialist. That's why he has his cool little guys. And after telling his uncle everything that's going on, he agrees to help, which is pretty good because Dr. Sylvester showed up and he's looking kind of dope, not gonna lie. And he's straight up just murking these cops. We then see Blink taking on the Genos while Ma Etta tends to Berg, and she's able to get him to regain control of himself. So they join the fray. We then see Cullen and his uncle on their way to get to the rest of the fam, but they both get attacked by Miss Nightdale. But Cullen just lights her up and puts her out of commission. But Dr. Sylvester was right behind her with a whole bunch of Genos with him. The other family members are getting a little overwhelmed by the Genos, but then some of them suddenly get killed. And by who, you may ask? By Ford Sangaria. Oh yeah, remember him? Well, he's freaking dope. He's estranged from his family because he believes that they should just kill these monsters. And that's why he was all the way out in Mississippi in the beginning of the arc. But after killing all the Klansmen, there was only one left, and his name was Johnny, who was extremely confused about everything that was going on. He explains that hate changes people into devils, and the fact that he didn't become one is the reason why he's still alive today. So he kind of makes some changes his way, which is kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. Cutting back to Cullen, he tries to take on Dr. S, and immediately gets taken through a portal and into a different dimension, where someone's there to help him out. Enoch tries to take on Dr. S, but it's not going super well. Well, that's until the rest of the family pulls up and starts kicking ass. Miss Nightdale joins the fight to help Dr. S, and they're both about to escape, but Ford isn't gonna let that slide and shoots Miss Nightdale. They're about to go after them, but they have to focus on all the Genos in the city. But what they don't know is that Ford actually killed Nightdale, which Dr. Sylvester is not super happy about. Once the battle's over, Enoch starts working on that cure, and after some time, he is able to turn Berg back to normal. But he's still somewhat connected to the Indonzo spirit, and is able to sense that Dr. Sylvester is there to mess things up. They all duke it out until these two ninja guys come through a portal and just start helping the family. They straight up body Dr. Sylvester, forcing him to flee. And the two masked benefactors reveal who they are. The woman is Nora Sangria, Blink's mother, and she's been trapped in the void the entire time. And the other one is Cullen, and he's like a stud now. And that is where book 1 ends. And I gotta say, it's freaking fire! Peak! A masterpiece! I love this shit. Obviously there's more, but like the Radiant Black video, I want you guys to be able to have some time to read it yourself. Especially with this one, come on dog. But it truly was amazing. The way how they fuse black history in this with horror and action is so unique and interesting. And I love how they touched upon generational trauma and actually gave a personification of racism that's actually as ugly as what it is. Also, the parallel between the villain and the heroes is really interesting. The way how both sides lost their family to racism, but one side still wants to help people while the other ones embrace the hatred. I think that's really cool. I'm sure once they realize they should be on the same side, they'll flourish. But that's what I thought about the comic. Wait a second. This was Black American history inspired. It's UK History Month. A biffa boffa. So before you go, let me hit you with a quick UK Black History fact. Let's talk about Una Marson. She was a Jamaican-born woman who traveled to the UK in 1932 and became the first black woman broadcaster for the BBC. She was also an advocate for racial and sexual equality. So good on her. We love strong women across this ring. Who's killing them in the UK? Everybody's gonna say you. No. Oh God, stop. Does this make it better? Okay, it was bad. I'm sorry. That's what I thought about the comic, and I would love to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Like the video, and hey, hype it up. It's free, and it really helps the channel out. And subscribe, and possibly watch another video. Why not? But I'll see you guys in the next one, and make sure you tell your family that y'all love. Bye-bye now.